Okay. As I used to say to my students, the clock on the wall says, it's time to start. I want to welcome you this afternoon to the 27th California Social Welfare Archives Annual Awards event. I'm Esther Gillies, President of the CSWA, and your host for the program today. I want to begin by sharing a little bit about the archive itself. Established in 1979, the CSWA was created by social work professionals. We're all groupies. We love to come together and form things. They were concerned that we were losing touch with our own history and the amazing accomplishments of their time. They identified a need to collect and protect materials and items deemed to be of importance in the evolution of social welfare in California. Oral histories were collected and archived, and along the way, the need to recognize social workers making outstanding contributions to social welfare across the state was formalized in the George D. Nickel Awards for Outstanding Service in California. Starting as a casual, informal group over time, the CSWA evolved into the organization we know today, a private nonprofit operating under the auspices of the USC School of Social Work and affiliated with the USC Library Special Collections. In 2002, the CSWA became the home for the California Social Work Hall of Distinction, a vision of Jim Carl's and a group of social work leaders in the state designed to create a permanent legacy of significant contributions of social workers to California social welfare. These are exciting times for the archives. The oral history collections dating back to the 1980s, all initially recorded on audio cassette tapes, have been digitized and are available online at the USC School of Social Work YouTube channel. And they'll soon be available through the USC Special Collections Library. The CSWA founders would have been amazed to know that today, from home or work or from anywhere in the nation, anyone can access interviews by Frances Feldman, for instance, Chauncey Alexander, taped in 1990, or Lester Breslow, the UCLA Dean of the School of Public Health, and the man who was known in California as Mr. Public Health, taped in 1990. Maury Hamovich, taped in 1990. Or interviews by John Milner of Elizabeth McBroom in 1988. That's a long time ago. Seems like yesterday to me, but I know that's a long time ago. June Brown in 1993. Nori Klass in 1981. Over 100 interviews are now posted online. About 5 years ago, we began videotaping the oral histories, and today over 50 videos are available on YouTube. We are currently conducting interviews with social workers involved in innovative program and service development in the 1970s and the 1980s. Recent videos include the DPSS Undocumented Children's Unit, a video that describes the response to the needs of undocumented children ending up in the child welfare system in the early 1970s. Immigration is not a new problem today. There were issues then, in the 1970s. The video features Carlos Sosa and Gladys Brito, the two social workers assigned at the time to create the program response to this need. And how did they do it? You'll have to go look at the video. It's fascinating, just fascinating. I start watching the videos and I intend to watch 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm looking for quality, I'm looking for other things, and before I know it, an hour and a half has passed. I cannot turn it off. They're addictive. Another video focuses on the emergence of a new area of social work, mediation services in family court, featuring David Kuroda, a pioneer in this field. A fascinating video captures the creation and evolution of Infoline from the 1940s to the present day, with interviewees Francis Feldman, Dick Thor, and a group of community members involved in the administration of that program into the 1980s. A fascinating historical accounting. The content of the oral histories is mesmerizing and inspiring. These are must-see videos, so go check them out. As we prepare for our formal program today, I would like to recognize a few of our guests. Shirley Gentilini, President, NASW, California, is with us. Rita Crowell, former Director, LA County Department of Mental Health. Marilyn Flynn, Dean of the USC School of Social Work. And I have to add, the visionary who has staunchly supported the work of the CSWA over the years, in the good times as well as through the really rough times. So thank you, Marilyn. Marleen Wong, Executive Director, NASW California, and Hall of Distinction Committee member. Sue Peck, Ambassador, International Federation of Social Workers. Sue has also been the past president, the NASW National President, and is a member of the Hall of Distinction Committee. Is Victor here? Victor. No? Okay. And Paul Maiden, Professor and Vice Dean of Academic and Student Affairs, USC School of Social Work. And one who is always trying to get me to come back and teach more classes. I would also like to thank the many people who make this event and the work of the CSWA possible. Starting with the CSWA Program Committee, board members Dorothy Fleischer, the committee chair, Carol Ann Peterson, and Alma Folks, and program manager Katie Mahalski. Other members of the board in attendance today include David Kuroda, Heather Halprin, Rafael Angulo, Carlos Sosa, Bill Dombrowski, Monica White, Colleen Friend, Melanie Vicedo, the librarian for the School of Social Work, and Claude Zachary, University Archivist. Thank you all for your ongoing commitment and support. And while giving thanks to our supporters, the CSWA wishes to publicly express appreciation to the Beverly Foundation for the gift of $10,000 recently made to the CSWA in honor of one of our founders, Francis Lomas Feldman. The funds are designated to support ongoing collections and archival activity. And finally, a big thanks to all of you, family, friends, social work colleagues, and others for sharing this event with us. Your participation in recognizing the honorees inspires others in the social work community to aspire to levels of excellence as social workers and promotes and validates the importance of the work of the archives. So thank you very much. With all of that said, it is my privilege to introduce our speaker for today. She has spent her career working in school settings with children and for children and families. Her work spans the scope of social work practice from micro-interventions with traumatized children to macro projects designed to advance the safety of children in schools and communities. She has been an advocate, acting in behalf of children at the highest governmental levels, and shared her experience across the globe. Today she's speaking on Invisible Wounds, Columbine to Sandy Hook. Please welcome Marleen Wong.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's such an honor to be here today and to have the opportunity to share a little bit about the work that I've done with my colleagues in various organizations across Los Angeles and the country. So I do this very carefully because I know it's difficult to talk about a topic such as childhood trauma when you're eating this lovely dinner. It's like enough to give you a stomach ache already. So just enjoy, and I'll try to just touch lightly on the tops of the waves and give you some idea of the things that I've been so fortunate to do, and now so fortunate to be able to share with you. When I started this work, I was the director of mental health in LA Unified School District. At that time, a school district of 750,000 children, K through 12, and 120,000 employees, over 1,000 schools. It's smaller since then. I think there's only 600,000. So I guess we've reached the size of my LAUSD colleagues. We've reached the size of the state of Alaska, and no, Montana's a little bigger. So, and we still have 1,000 schools, almost, except for the charter schools. And in 1998, in the midst of all of this, we started a partnership with the, between, well, now USC, but then Los Angeles Unified School District, the Mental Health Service, with Rand Health. So those are where the heavy hitter researchers are. The UCLA Health Services Research Center at Geffen Medical School, and the UCLA Anxiety Disorders Clinic. And we have been partners since 1998. We speak to each other once a week for an hour. Isn't that amazing? I mean, it's lasted longer than my first marriage. I just, you know, it's a miracle. So let me share a little bit about the last 20 years, and because I think this is a trip that you can take with me in terms of your experience with children in schools, your time in schools. And if you were a person who went to school before 1985, it never entered your mind that you would go to school and be afraid of a school shooting. But children who were born in 1985 went to school for the first time in 1990 in kindergarten. And at that point in time, there had been well over 500 school shootings by the time that Columbine happened. And so many of these children were aware of the fact that it was a possibility. And in fact, some educational foundations did some studies, and they sampled some high schools, both public and private, and religious schools, and they asked the question, could something like Columbine happen at your school? Now think about what the children in your family might say. And what they found in these studies was pretty consistent, that over 50% of the children said yes. This could happen in my school. So even though it's a small number in 100,000 schools across the United States and 15,000 school districts, it still was something that was imprinted on their minds. And of those 50%, 35% of them said, and I can tell you the kid I'm afraid of. So this idea of a kind of person who was troubled, who was suicidal, who was also threatening, was a part of their experience at school. And bullying then took on a whole new aspect because it could be deadly. So we learned that school shootings could happen anywhere, and particularly after Columbine, because if any of you who have been to Columbine, it is in the most beautiful setting. It's in the hills, nestled in, outside of Denver. It's a very upper middle class community, many two-parent families. And who could be unhappy listening, just living near the Coors plant? It's just an environment that overall is just lovely. So we learn now it can happen anywhere. In Oklahoma City in 1995, as you'll remember, the Murrah Federal Building was bombed. And what we learned and why that changed the culture of education is because educators, especially at the highest levels in the U.S. Department of Education and Departments of Justice, realized that children could be targets of terrorism, that someone would choose a building like the Murrah Building, not in spite of the fact that there were, what was in the basement? Do you remember? A daycare center and a preschool. But Timothy McVeigh and his co-conspirators told the officials they chose it because there were those babies in the daycare. They wanted to create as much hurt. They wanted to send a message that would be so searing that the American people would never forget. Of course, we don't remember what that message is anymore, but we do remember this horrific act. In 2001, on 9/11, when the planes flew into the Twin Towers, we learned, again, children in the vicinity could be targets of terrorism. There were 9 schools around the Twin Towers, and even though by that time many state laws had included safe school provisions, and that the federal government was insisting that every school have an all-hazards plan, so if you lived in tornado country or hurricane country or earthquake country, your school would have a plan that would preserve the lives of students and staff. Well, what we learned then is that you have to have a place to go. And they did have an evacuation site, but where was that evacuation site for those 9 schools? The Twin Towers. It also happened to be the main emergency operations center for New York. So that all has to be brought up again. Children were dispersed everywhere thanks to the heroism of the school staff and the school police in New York City. Not one child's life was lost. But they had to disperse, and depending upon where your school was, you saw what was going on. So the schools that were on the side where the planes went into the building, they evacuated immediately. But for the schools that were on the other side of the buildings, they saw a puff of smoke. And what I learned from working in New York City is that apparently these little passenger planes run into tall buildings all the time. And so it was like, oh no, now a bigger plane has run into the side of this building. And the Empire State Building particularly is vulnerable to small passenger planes hitting it. So the schools on the other side had to wait, and the principal and the teachers and the social workers and the counselors had to decide, are we safer inside this building? Are we safer evacuating? And they had to make that choice. Well, when the second tower was hit and the building started to collapse, one of the schools told the children, run. Run to the Brooklyn Bridge. Run north. And as I like to say, in my family, some of us don't know which way north is. So some ran, they ran south and they ran all different ways, and some of them were quite traumatized because now they've released the pictures of just how many hundreds of people were really jumping out of the towers. So what do we learn? You have to have what's called redundant safety plans. You have to have a second place where kids can go. Because once they dispersed everywhere, the cell phones weren't working, the parents couldn't find their children, the children couldn't get to their parents. If they went on over to Staten Island, they couldn't get back over again. It was really quite, a distressing situation for all. Then in the hurricanes, Katrina and Rita, I'll tell you what we learned, is that schools and school districts, if they're in an area where there's a certain kind of disaster, a natural disaster, they have to have surge capacity. And what that means is that after the hurricanes, it was the largest mass migration of Americans since the Civil War. They scattered across the South in particular, and the one area which had the largest number of children was Houston, Texas, that area. They received over 100,000 students. They had to find classrooms and books and teachers and cafeteria folks and food. And they had to struggle mightily with the help of the federal government to bring up these services, these educational services for children. And, we did have some children. We wanted children to come here to Los Angeles. I remember they were rehabbing a whole section, an empty warehouse. And so the few children who did come, we kind of did retail therapy. We overbought everything. They had backpacks and clothing and, special towels and all that. And I was just curious, how did they do? And I remember one child that was going back with her family, and I asked her, did we do a good job? Did you feel welcome here? I mean, she goes, yeah, you guys did okay, Good, I said, I'm glad. She said, but I can't eat one more of them tortillas. So obviously we weren't sensitive to her cuisine and culture. Frozen burritos don't go over with kids from New Orleans. In Virginia Tech, it took another turn. This whole idea of a school shooting was no longer K-12, but now was in the arena of the university. And, you know, that was quite alarming. We were quite frightened that it would now take, and there were several university shootings, as you will recall. In fact, what isn't greatly known is that when Gabby Giffords was shot, that the young man who was the perpetrator had been threatening to kill people at his community college. And they suspended him. He was expelled from the school and then proceeded to perpetrate the crime against Gabby Gifford and the 10 other people that he shot and killed. So the talk now, this is very much like what happened in Sandy Hook. Those of you who have been to Connecticut lots of times, I hadn't been to Connecticut very much until after 12/14, and that's what they call the tragedy at Sandy Hook in Connecticut, 12/14. But it is the most unlikely place in the world that you would ever think a massacre like this could happen. It is very idyllic. It was, when I was there several times, it's, you know, snow on the ground, these lovely clapboard houses, the woods. And Sandy Hook elementary school is actually located down a lane, and a country lane. And the children there were really nestled in the middle of these woods. So to have this young man come in, and I want to mention that the principal did everything right. The doors were locked. She had school safety measures. She ran out to stop it. Several of the staff ran out, and tragically, they were all killed because he had these high-powered weapons, more than one, and clips of 30 high-powered bullets that he was able to insert into the gun. Now we have, tragically again, another turn in this phenomenon. These are still troubled young people, but what the FBI and Secret Service would tell you is that suicide and homicide are two sides of the same coin. That many of these perpetrators are also, they're suicidal, first of all. And the question is, in a period of fluidity, when they are on a trajectory towards violence, what the Secret Service would say is that any intervention will stop and deter and change the path, the trajectory of their move toward violence. So that's why threat assessment is so important, and also just stopping people, taking away their guns, going into the homes, which now K-12 folks do. The school police are now, we have a deputy police chief here, and they can go into the homes and they can take guns away from students who are making threats and have weapons accessible. These are all tragic signs of the fact that we haven't put as a society enough services, enough resources into mental health for children. And it's what I call the wrong way to the right place. Is we needed this for a very, very long time. Now, I just want to mention also that since Sandy Hook, on 12/14, there were more than 100 people killed by guns just in the couple weeks of December. And in the first 7 weeks, that number was 1,285. And 3 months after, now there have been 2,243. So there are a lot of guns. You know, they say it's not the gun, it's the person. So we have a lot of people who are so troubled that they are now primarily danger to others. What social workers know and what people who study trauma know is that when you go into a classroom, you see all these lovely children, that what we see is really what's above the waterline, that they're very profound beings, and it's like an iceberg. And underneath all of that, underneath the beauty and the sparkle of a young child, are these forces that are in play. The level of their own psychological stress, the individual personality, even within the same family, the youth culture, the part of the youth culture that they attach to, because it is a spectrum of activities that are sponsored by the community, supervised by adults, engaged in school and community groups, etc., all the way to the isolated young person who might listen to the kind of music that is all about violence, that is all about violent games. And it isn't the games themselves, but essentially their sort of ecological environment that's in their head and all around them, and some that they create. We also know that there are family influences, and these all are the complex factors that operate within a young person and in their community. So what are the consequences of trauma? I just wanted to give you some idea of how my colleagues at UCLA, Dr. Shao Kataoka, and at RAND, now Dr. Brad Stein, who's in Pittsburgh, Dr. Lisa Jaycox, who was a beginning researcher, is now senior researcher in Washington, D.C., all of us and colleagues from LA Unified School District, is that we were looking at young children when we would go out on crisis calls. And in Los Angeles, there are about 2,500 to 3,000 crisis calls per year, often community incidents that come on to the school campus. This is a typical story that we would hear, not about the crisis itself, but about something that happened to the child earlier that year. And here's Martine's story. One night a year ago, I saw men shooting at each other and people running to hide. I was scared and I thought I was going to die. And after this happened, I started to have nightmares. I felt scared all the time. I couldn't concentrate in class like before. And I thought that something bad could happen to me. I started to get into a lot of fights at school and with my brothers. Now, if this is not a trauma-informed school, this is a story that a teacher or a counselor or someone might say, Martine, don't worry, you're in a safe place now, because he had come from Guatemala and had landed in an LA Unified School District school. But here, let's look at it through a trauma lens. I saw men shooting, and I thought I was going to die. You see, it's the perception that I am the vulnerable person. I could have died, and by some grace, I'm alive. He started to have nightmares, so here's disrupted sleep. He felt scared all the time. PTSD is the most serious of the anxiety disorders. And now he has not only anxiety when he thinks about it, even though he's not in Guatemala, he's scared all the time. It's generalized anxiety. He couldn't concentrate. He's having cognitive impairment. He's not being able to think straight because there's a different part of his brain that's operating on survival mode. Something bad could happen to me. Now, you see, he's been vulnerable. The veil is lifted. That illusion of safety is gone. And this could actually happen again. Maybe not in Guatemala. He's not in Guatemala, but he's on the streets of LA, and it could happen with a gang member. And he started to get into a lot of fights at school. Very typically, with young males, they take on aggressive behaviors in reaction to trauma, both at school and at home. There's also traumatized students from natural disasters. So Kyoka, 10th grade, came to LA and told this story. While walking, we saw people crying because they had no food and water, and we saw bodies in the street. They had an old man dead in a chair. I was so scared. I thought I was going to die. We were walking on the bridge, and the army man started to shoot in the air, and I just started to cry. I was so scared. It started to rain, and everyone started to cry, saying, I hope another hurricane don't pass by. Sometimes these traumas are personal and hidden. And Stefan in 7th grade told us his story. I know when my mother starts to drink, I have to hide after school. I go outside. I try to stay at my friend's house, but then I have to go home. I sneak in or run to my room. And sometimes she fights with her boyfriend and she leaves me alone. Sometimes she finds me, starts to yell and scream. And she hits me with her hands and picks up stuff to throw at me. And even when she stops and says she's sorry, I'm scared all night and can't sleep. I get up and can't think right. I'm no good at school. So I ask, what about the achievement gap? We've had any number of academic reforms, programs for reading, the learning walk. There's all sorts of things, but we've never really looked at that piece of it that is about children who are exposed to trauma and are sitting in our schools unidentified. We know that classroom performance declines because of the way in which the brain is operating. It is not just psychological, and it is not a matter of just moral fiber or character or discipline or training in the home. And that behavior and emotional problems also develop secondary to the traumatic event and can include substance abuse, aggression, and depression. So here's some research done by other colleagues around the country. If children are exposed to violence during school age, decreased IQ, more suspension and expulsion, decreased rates of high school graduation, lower grade point average, more days absent from school. Traumatized children are not going to be successful in school. In fact, C. Everett Koop, who only recently died, was way ahead of it. He was a real visionary. He said, interpersonal violence is a public health emergency and one of the most significant public health issues facing America. In fact, I heard a Harvard researcher talk, and she has a theory. She said violence is a public health problem. It starts like public health problems. It starts with the people most at risk, the most vulnerable, in communities of poverty. And gradually, if untreated, it spreads across working class, then into the middle class, and now in Sandy Hook. We looked at the trajectory of violence across the country. There is no segment of our country now that is immune, that can say, violence will not affect me. Here's just a little bit of our work. A colleague had looked at a national survey, had completed a national survey of adolescents in 1995, and found that only 2% of his survey across the country had direct assault experiences. And you could see here that witnesses were about 50%, and those experiencing no violence at all were 27%. But not all places are the same. Even within LA Unified School District, our colleagues found that in the zip codes that are most associated with high rates of crime and poverty, that 54% had said that they were hit, kicked, punched, or threatened with a knife in the past year. And that 40% of them had either been victims of knife or gun violence or had been witnesses to knife or gun violence. And only 6% had no exposure to any kind of violence at all. Let's take a look at what this looks like on a graph. So here's the Far West Valley. You can see here the large streets, the big streets, maybe Tampa and Satakoy and Roscoe Boulevard. And the little monopoly houses are elementary schools. They're numbered. We know which elementary schools they are. So it's combined with crime statistics as well as the geographic area over a period of 7 years. And the LAPD noted that in this graph here, this section of the valley, the black dots represent unsolved homicides. In other words, there are more homicides than this. These are just the ones that are unsolved. They never did find the perpetrator. Are you ready for South LA? Unsolved homicides. And then we wonder why students in these areas, are they ready to learn? They're on survival mode. In fact, when this came out that particular week, one of the elementary schools in the midst of all of this had to be locked down 3 times because of crossfire from gangs. And they were inside the school. I'm going to skip over this, but I just wanted to show you the rates. Fully 6 months after 9/11, there was a large study done by Columbia. And you can see here that they estimated that the number of mental health professionals, social workers, psychologists, etc., that would be needed, they were a great number because literally 26% of the students in the New York Board of Education schools, which is the largest school district in the country with over 1,200 students, had some form of reaction, a mental health disorder in reaction or a pre-existing disorder that would require treatment. We know also from our RAND colleagues who've done studies that 80% of children with emotional problems don't get treatment, and if they do, the small percentage, I believe it's about 8%, get that in schools. And therefore, that's the reason why the President's new Freedom Commission talked about school mental health and how important it was to fund services where children had access to them, in a place in which there was no stigma about getting help. With my colleagues at RAND, we developed the Cognitive Behavioral Intervention for Trauma in School, CBITS, manualized. Our effectiveness study was published in the Journal of American Medical Association. I'm so proud to be a part of this terrific team. Also, the modification, we're actually moving from tertiary treatment to more preventive efforts. And that is that our colleague at RAND, Dr. Lisa J. Cox, who also wrote for the Department of Defense, Invisible Wounds, about the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, she modified CBITS so that teachers could teach it in a curriculum, that if they suspected they had a classroom full of traumatized kids, that they could teach. It was a little health education. You know, did you know that these behaviors are a part of this profile? And then, of course, trauma-informed schools, that we all have to have strategies. This is the IOM approach also, that a multi-tiered service delivery model using research-based interventions with an intensity of intervention that increases at each level, that provides us with data-driven decisions, regular monitoring of student progress. And so these are the things that we want to see in every school, from prevention to early intervention to treatment. I'm going to move forward here. One of the things I just want to say is that we know that the rates of trauma, PTSD, in the child welfare system, it's just a given that it's a rule. These children are traumatized from the experiences that they have, and they require a very high level of attention and treatment. Also, I just discovered, you know, it's taken me a long time. I came from Central California, from a very small town that was an agricultural town. So when I came to USC, shortly after the school was established in 1922, I really didn't know what social work was about. But I had the wonderful people that you see on the list. Nori Class was my teacher. Francis Feldman was my teacher. You know, Dean Hamovich was the dean. Dean Stinson was a professor. He was my advisor. I mean, all of these people. I think the Greek mythologists would say, "I grew from their shoulders," and I grew from the shoulders of everyone here as well. I mean, my dissertation chairperson is here, and all my wonderful colleagues, my family, the best. But I've learned what social workers are. They're boundary spanners. In other words, they don't stay in their own lane. They're always talking to other people, like police and, you know, teachers and all sorts of folks, child welfare folks. And we cross any boundary we can to talk with all the people we can. We're team builders and collaborators. We're preventionists and policymakers. We're systems, developmental, and person and situation thinkers. We're strength-based skill builders. We're community leaders and organizers. And yes, we're proud to say that President Obama did say that he was a community organizer. And we're ecological strategists. We're more than that. We're so many more things than that. And one of the things I think that social work suffers from is like poor self-image. You know, because despite all of these great things that social workers do, we don't feel all that good about ourselves sometimes. So I'm going to share something that one of my colleagues at Columbine, I worked there for off and on for 2 years training the people in the county mental health system and in the school of Columbine itself, the social workers and counselors. And she put this on the end of every email, and I want you to remember this. Whenever you're having that psychologically reversed moment, to the world, you may be just one person, but to one person, you just may be the world. And that's what you are to me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Marleen, thank you. Thank you so much. powerful, powerful presentation. Providing us with facts and new insights and optimism at the end. The changes will occur. I'm sure we will see the changes occur, and it takes the inspiration and the courage of those like yourself who are pushing us forward. Thank you so much. Today, as we celebrate this 27th honors event, we pay tribute to workers and community activists who have made significant contributions to welfare in California. The George D. Nickel Awards are named after one of the founders of CSWA and are made each year to select individuals. The list of past honorees is on the inside cover of your program. But we are joined today by some past recipients of these awards, including Monica White, Jacqueline McCroskey, David Kuroda, Sue Peck, and June Brown, who was the recipient of the Francis Feldman Excellence in Education Award in 2011. We are privileged to have Marilyn Flynn, Dean of the School of Social Work, with us today to present the George D. Nickel Award for Outstanding Work to Social Welfare by a social worker to Marleen Wong. Marilyn?
Well, you've already read about Marleen in your program, and obviously you've heard from her. I want to add just a few words. When I was able to hire Marleen Wong, everybody stood in awe of this. You've hired Marleen Wong. And I was relatively new to the community, and I thought, yes, I've hired Marleen Wong. I think that's a good thing. But this deep sense of reverence had not yet come to me. It has, however, now. I've learned that she's an extraordinary woman in every domain that she touches. She's really one of the very few leaders, maybe the only leader in field education in the United States who is continuously involved in intervention research and continuously funded. And funded at a very competitive level. She's continuously interested in innovation and change, and of course we could say that about a lot of people. Many people are, but actually she's able to implement change. If Marleen decides to do it, it gets done. She's courageous. You've got some sense of that. She goes to scenes of great psychological challenge, scenes that many of us actually would quail from, independent of whatever training we've received. And of course she works for me, which is a considerable challenge in itself. Large problems are not too large for her. She's committed to education. You've noticed this in her talk. She repeatedly talked about learning. She repeatedly talked about students in almost every other sentence of her presentation. She's committed to our students in social work, and she's committed to children in every community, not just here in Los Angeles, but nationally and internationally. The thing that has impressed me tremendously about her, as I've come to travel with her in China and elsewhere, she's heard, her voice is heard, her ideas are heard, her perspective is heard everywhere in the world. Her insights are somehow universally valuable. She's able to express what she knows in ways that everyone can hear. And of course, finally, we all love her because she's humorous, because she's humble, because she's personal, and because she's such a proud social worker. So I'm very proud to present although I'm not sure which one it is. I'm very proud, Marleen. I think you have to come up here. Okay. The George Nickel Award.
Oh, this is such a lovely honor, and to get it from the dean, who is, I'll tell you something, it's a roller coaster. I mean, she gets an idea, and it's fun, but it's scary. One of the things I want to say is I learn from her every single day, from her, from Paul Maiden, from all of my colleagues here. You know, when I went to USC, there were 50 students in my class, and Maury Hamovich said it was the biggest class they had ever had, and the most culturally diverse. And people were in awe, like 50 people per year, wow. And then, you know, over the years it grew and grew, and I remember meeting Dean Flynn the first few months that she came. She invited all the community leaders, and the first thing she said was, we need to have distance learning. So for all the people who said, where did this crazy VAC come from? She talked about it the day she got here. We just didn't understand what she was talking about. It took us 11 years to catch up. That's the kind of thing, you know, and then when I started as assistant dean, 800 students, and now I'm an associate dean, and we have 3,000 students. This is an amazing school. I love it. And I thank you all. Thank you to this organization, to the dean, and to all of you who are here. Thanks so much.
While Carol Ann Peterson comes up to the podium, I do want to add, on my list, I also have Wendy Smith, who is a past recipient of the George D. Nickel Award. So, Wendy, I'm sorry about that omission.
Good evening. I'm Carol Ann Peterson, and I'm a member of the CSWA board, and I get to make the next presentation. Ruth Slaughter in the domestic violence movement is known to all of us as an icon. In 1979, she was one of the founding mothers of the Los Angeles County Domestic Violence Council, the oldest domestic violence council in the country. And as a pioneer in the field, Ruth wrote and got one of the first federal grants for a domestic violence shelter. Those of us who know her know she never rests on her laurels. She is always being a visionary and envisioning new things. One of those was multidisciplinary teams looking at domestic violence, substance abuse, and mental health. And she joined with Vivian Brown at Prototypes to do exactly that. They not only collaborated on providing those services, but started the second shelter in Los Angeles County, Star House, that serviced victims of domestic violence who also had substance abuse issues. Most of us in the community have always thought of Ruth as a social worker. She may not have her degree in social work, but she is a social worker at heart. She will fight for injustice wherever she sees it, and she'll create programs to resolve issues if that's what it takes. Because she is a role model, Ruth has recently been asked to join the California Women's Leadership Institute to mentor the next generation of young women who are coming up in our leadership roles to take over the world. And I'm still waiting to take over the world. And so this, by the way, is an honor because it's by invitation only. And so it is my deep pleasure to present to Ruth Slaughter the George D. Nickel Award for Outstanding Contributions to Social Work, my friend, mentor, colleague, whatever else I can call her, and awesome.
Thank you. This is such an honor, and I am just truly humbled to receive this award from this prestigious university. Never in my wildest dreams when I started this work to end violence against women in 1972 that I would be honored this way. It was a little shelter in Pasadena that started a movement to end violence against women. But there were so many people along the way that made the work possible. And the first one I really would like to thank, she's been my mentor, my best friend, and colleague for over 40 years, and that's the Reverend Dr. Mary Walton. Mary was probably, and I don't know of anyone else who has done this, she's probably the first social worker to work in a domestic violence shelter. And with her guidance and with her wisdom and knowledge of how to help women and their children, I think we had a model program for the country. So Mary, thank you. You are a part of the battered women's movement. The second woman is a dynamo who's absolutely brilliant, who I met in 1988. And she was a part of a team to HIV/AIDS prevention program. And it was a national program and one of the first in the country. And that's Dr. Vivian Brown. Vivian has been she's a visionary, she's innovative, and Prototypes is probably one of the finest women's programs in this country. And it is because of her brilliance and how she encouraged her staff to be the best that they can be. Vivian, thank you so much. In HIV prevention, I met a wonderful woman. Her name was Chai Hughes, and we worked together for 3 years, and then another 10 years. Veronica Flores, who was on the team, the HIV prevention team, also. So it's been domestic violence, HIV prevention, substance abuse, and mental health. Vivian taught us to look at the entire family, the whole family, the entire person. So I'm always grateful for that. And I'm also grateful to have here is my spiritual family, the group that nourishes me, that takes care of me, and helps me to grow in my faith. So I am so happy that you're all here. Dave Kim, my pastor, his wife, Emma, the women's ministry leader, the mature disciples, Alice, John, Angela, Terry, Mary, who are just dear, dear friends. Could you all stand too? And last but not least, my wonderful children. They are my greatest award. My wonderful children who are here. One son is from Washington, D.C. And so thank you for being so wonderful, for taking good care of your mother also. I love you. If my children could stand. I have my circle of friends here. I have Debbie Murad, who I've worked with for 16 years, who was a new social worker right out of USC. And I think it was her really first job. And who would have ever thought that she would be so comfortable in South Los Angeles and East Los Angeles? She was a trooper. And Debbie, I just loved working with you for over 15 years. And these are people who enrich my life. So it's so important that I share this award with them. And it's Ruth Pont and Rosemary Ecker from Circle of Friends, a program that I volunteer with. And Debbie, who's a Durfee Fellow, and also a Courage to Lead fellow who we have become friends also. So all of you, and I'm going to use the term circle of friends, have circled me, encouraged me, supported me, and I love every one of you. So thank you. I'm honored by this award.
Three years ago, the CSWA introduced a new award named in honor of Frances Lomas Feldman, one of the founding members of the organization. This award recognizes an individual who has demonstrated exceptional qualities in the area of education, whether as a scholar or as an educator. Awardees are selected on the basis of their extraordinary accomplishments in and commitment to study, research, and or teaching in their field, with special consideration to efforts that relate to the understanding and preservation of history and the application of historical lessons to society's most pressing problems. Today, we are honored to have Marleen Wong, Executive Director, NASW California, present the Frances Lomas Feldman Excellence in Education Award to James Kelly. Marleen.
Thank you very much. Let me express my appreciation to the Archive as well as USC for allowing me to present this award. And it's such an honor to be in the presence of so many wonderful social workers. It's just quite a pleasure. I wanted to say a couple of things before I launch into Jim here. The first one is my cousin, Marleen. I'm very happy that she got the award. If you haven't figured it out, all Wongs are related. And by the way, her presentation was quite excellent. And I particularly focused on one thing that's a current event going on right now, and that is the idea of image, social worker image. And as you know, California does not have title protection for social workers. So there's a current bill in Sacramento, Assembly Bill 252, that is authored by the two social workers, MSWs, in the California State Legislature, Assembly Member Mariko Yamada, who's an alumni of USC, and Assembly Member Susan Aigman. So both of them are going to help us push this bill through. And I think with this bill's enactment, we will go a long way to improving the image of social workers, not just to the public, but to ourselves. So I'm looking forward to asking all of you to support that legislation. When the time comes, we'll be asking you. The other thing I wanted to say is that this program, the Archive program, is very special to me because I'm a student of history. I love history. And it's all too soon that we forget. So having a permanent program, especially a high-tech program with video and YouTube and on the website, is just fantastic. So I do visit the website. I do listen to the videos, and they're quite good. I'm one of Jim Kelly's greatest fans. His accomplishments are very numerous, and as Marilyn said, you can read a lot of it in the program. That just describes some of what he's done. But let me get into some detail. Jim was probably a contributor to the graduation of the majority of social workers in California in public schools in the last 2 decades. Contributor to the majority of the graduation of social work students in California in public schools in the last 2 decades. Well, some see Ernest Whitty, who developed the first 5 CSU programs in social work in California, as the grandfather of public social work education for the CSUs. Jim is the prodigal son. Everywhere Jim went, social work would begin. At Long Beach, he expanded the program to a dimension that we were just discussing before this event that, gee, what's the other big school in Los Angeles? And Long Beach came to mind. At Cal State LA, he broke through a decade or more than a decade of logjam to finally get an MSW program there. And he made it a little special by incorporating criminal justice and forensic social work in the program. At CSU East Bay, formerly known as Hayward, he also helped them break through and establish a wonderful MSW program, the second public program in the East Bay, and probably the pinnacle of diversity for social work programs in the Bay Area. Quite impressive. Along the way, he became kind of the Johnny Appleseed of social work education, with the seeding of other programs through distance education and consulting. I'm just going to name a few. I'm probably missing some, but at my age, I can't remember everything. But Chico, Humboldt, Bakersfield, Stanislaus, Loma Linda, San Bernardino, Monterey, San Marcos, APU, SLO, and Sonoma. There are only a few schools left that he needs to work on. That includes the California Maritime Academy. So he was also one of the founders of the California Social Work Education Center, or CalSWIC. That is the biggest and best collaborative and consortium of social work education and local public entities, counties, in the United States. It's truly impressive, not only because of what it's doing with all the schools involved and with the California Welfare Directors Association involved, but that it's lasted this long without them killing each other. So that's quite an impressive achievement. Given that Jim is really adept at navigating the diversity in politics of California, especially in higher education, Jim should be nominated to be the next Secretary General of the UN, and then we will really get peace in the world. But aside from that, he's also tremendous at donating and volunteering his time on numerous boards, and he also, as you know, has been the California chapter president and also the national president of NASW. So that's no small feat, because those jobs take a lot of time, and Jim has really given his time. Social work is a mission, and if done right, it can accomplish great things. Jim's mission was and is to bring social work to all, and he has made great strides. I'm a big fan of Jim's, but there isn't enough fanfare to herald all of his accomplishments. Congratulations, Jim, on receiving the Francis Lomas Feldman Award.
I did pay Janley $100 to say those nice things. I don't know if you know it or not, but I'm grateful for Dr. Wong's talk today, because it means a lot to me. I'm a college president, and I live on a campus with 825 high school students and 740 college students, of which 470 sleep with me every night. This morning at 3 a.m., one young man was sleeping over with one young woman, and in the middle of the night, he got up and got one of his friends and took her car keys and went for a joyride down to Palo Alto, smashed the car, knocked down 2 trees, left the scene, and came back to campus, but I have cameras. So, you know, I'm all for rehabilitation, and I do it every day. I manage a very tiny college, 700 and some students, but I don't have the services that all colleges have. I don't have a mental health center or a health center, so some days I'm doing mental health, some days I'm doing law, some days I'm doing counseling. I forgot to tell you that it's a business college. I'm managing business faculty. They stole a lot of stuff from social work, case studies. I mean, it's just real interesting how much of business was stolen from early social work. So I'm very grateful, Dr. Wong. It was a wonderful presentation. And to the other honoree, thank you for everything that you've done in the area of domestic violence. Thank you to everyone here, my colleagues and friends, to the California Social Welfare Archives, and to the USC School of Social Work. I am profoundly honored to receive this award. The USC School of Social Work was and remains one of the profession's most highly esteemed programs. I was fortunate to attend USC, around 1900, before you were born, Dr. Wong. And I knew Frances Feldman. She was of wonderful hats and Native American jewelry. I had the real privilege of not only knowing Frances, but also understanding the role she played, particularly in the development of child welfare services in the western United States. I am humbled to receive an award named after someone as caring, dedicated, and groundbreaking as she. In one of those It's a Small World moments, I learned that my partner, Rob's Aunt Estelle, was a social worker who graduated from SC and a personal friend of Frances. Many excellent stories did Estelle tell. The connection shouldn't surprise anyone, perhaps because of the nature and purpose of our profession. We social workers and the people who love us are an extended family to one another. It speaks to the power of Frances that her husband, Al, left chemistry to become a social work educator and started the first school of gerontology in the United States here at USC. I am particularly touched to receive an education award. Teaching is the most important thing that I've not been able to do since becoming an administrator, and I greatly miss it. My best classroom experiences were when I had a student group by and with whom I could run ideas and talk about the value of social work. I apologize to anyone I taught during my first 10 years as I developed as an educator. Teaching well is an arduous task born from determination, creativity, and more than a little ability to learn from students and talented educators around you. It was during my field practice seminars where I believe some of my best work was done. When I was able to work with students in practice settings to connect theory to practice, to help things click together, I felt I was truly preparing students to connect with their clients and prepare for careers that would make the world more humane. Believing as strongly as I do about social work, I felt compelled to develop programs to advance the profession through academic rigor for qualified, highly motivated students. I created a niche by offering classes at night, on weekends, in the summer to accommodate non-traditional working students. Stellar faculty developed the cross-cultural emphasis to prepare graduates that would serve diverse populations. After starting the MSW program at Long Beach, where I had the audacity to require an MSW thesis, I then saw an opportunity to use technology to bring together other CSUs. I'm just sorry to report that my goal was to have an MSW program on each of the 23 campuses, and I'm a little short, but I did get Loma Linda going in the meantime. Becoming president of NASW fulfilled a dream. My one wish is that my mentoring colleague, Chauncey Alexander, could have been there to see me in a position to promote social work globally. Working with NASW Executive Director Betsy Clark, I gladly supported the organization's focus on creating and disseminating educational resources with which its members could develop, always with the goal of helping the underserved. With great appreciation to the USC School of Social Work, and on behalf of the students that I am proud to have served, I gladly accept this wonderful award. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our awardees, our honorees today, and to all of you for sharing this day with us. We have just one last item on the agenda. If the honorees would approach the podium, we want one last picture, and we will share with you there's a special guest who wanted to be here today, but whose travel schedule would not allow her participation. A supporter of social welfare issues, Congressman Lucille Roybal Allard, representing the 40th Congressional District of California, sends her congratulations to all of our honorees today, and she has prepared for each a certificate of special recognition in her behalf. So we will share that with each of our honorees if you come forward at this point. Thank you all so much for your support and attendance today. And Katie reminds me that we have food available yet, so on your way to either chatting with friends or on your way to the door, do stop by the table and help us use up the food. So thank you so much. See you at other events in the future.